I'm proud that we passed criminal justice reform. We've done it all in Texas. We are not going to tolerate people's lives being at risk in our state. We're not going to tolerate judges who are letting criminals walk the street. And I hope the voters in this election forget the personalities. It doesn't matter if you don't like Biden or don't like Trump. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. You better stand up for the safety of your family and your business. And if we don't back the police, we're not going to have any police. And you're going to be left on your own. And if you think that's hyperbole, it's not. Just look around the country and look around the state. Harold Preston should be alive today. We have to do everything we can, and we're committed to doing that in the Texas Senate, and I know the Texas House will be. I'd like to turn it over to the Speaker.
Thank you, Governor Patrick. You probably picked up on the passion because it's real. And we talk about the officers who give their life up, but they're also the officers who don't give their life up, but they give a piece of themselves up. When we say don't defund the police, we should continue and say don't demoralize law enforcement. Because when you say defund, you demoralize. And I think of Rick Salter, Houston SWAT leader, my constituent. He's alive, but he gave a big piece of his body protecting people in Houston when he was shot in the face and fought to live and does today. But it's a different life than the one he had before that tragedy. You cannot be a Texan and not stand for civility and safety in the people who provide it, and that is law enforcement. You cannot tolerate it otherwise. Governor Patrick's right. This is not a partisan issue. Mayor Turner is leading in the right direction here in the city of Houston. He's our friend, and he does a good job in that issue. We cannot tolerate those running for office who are supporting defunding our police, because you're taking resources from your community's safety, you're making these officers' jobs more unsafe, and quite frankly, you're demoralizing their value of doing a job every day. You can't protect people wondering where the shot's coming from. You can't do it. And it's got to end. It has got to end. And I want to thank Governor Abbott for leading and starting this pledge, I don't know, 2 months ago. We were in Austin, and it was heartbreaking. Governor Abbott met with the spouses of police officers, and they said it means the world that the governor is here today because we genuinely wonder if people even appreciate what our spouses do anymore. We've wondered if we have become the enemy. No one wearing a uniform of protection should ever have to wonder, or their loved one that sends them off into danger every day, if they are supported or appreciated or are worse, the enemy. With Governor Patrick, Governor Abbott, Senator Cornyn in Texas, law enforcement is never the enemy. They are the leaders of freedom. They are the leaders of civility, and we support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Senator Cornyn.
Well, Governor, let me tell you how much I appreciate your leadership on this issue, along with the Lieutenant Governor and Speaker and Ray. It's good to be here with you and all the folks at HPOU. We're here to send a loud and clear message. We're not here to defund the police. We're here to defend the police. But I think you'd have to be blind not to see what's happening around this country. There are examples, for example, Austin, Texas, where they cut the budget for the police department by a third. Just happens to be in my particular case, my opponent said, well, this is a matter of local control. Well, public safety, when public safety is in jeopardy, it's not just a matter of local control. And so I applaud what the governor and the lieutenant governor Austin can live out their lives the way they see fit without having to worry about someone attacking them or robbing them or trespassing on their property. You know, the fact is there are national movements. Something called Campaign Zero is one example just happens to be endorsed by my opponent in this election, that supports not only defunding the police, but the founders of that organization support abolishing the police. And then, of course, having to be being a resident of Austin, all you have to do is visit to see how out of control things have gotten in Austin, how the quality of life has gone down while people who obviously are suffering from mental illness and other problems are left to camp out on the streets and potentially be a risk to themselves and others. But this whole attitude, and really it's part of a national movement. It doesn't emanate from here, but it affects our great state. And I want to also join my friends here and say that Sylvester Turner and the City Council, I think, have shown a lot of courage and set a good example when it comes to supporting law enforcement. I do agree that there are other problems that need to be addressed, and we'll leave that up to the voters to address. But this doesn't just stop here in Houston, Texas. There are people that say we should not even defend our borders, and that the Border Patrol, the professional law enforcement officers that provide the security to our borders, that stop this influx of drugs, anti-human trafficking and the like, that they are equivalent to the human rights abusers in communist China who are committing atrocities against the Uyghur minority. That is the sort of moral equivalence, I think, which leads people to this wrong-headed thinking about how we view the police. So I'm here to say I back the blue. Anything you need that we can provide, we're here to do that. And we all understand that the national media likes to focus on a few exceptional circumstances, and they will be dealt with appropriately in the courts of law on a case-by-case basis. But this idea that everybody is guilty is just really un-American. And we're here to say that's wrong. We don't buy it. We don't believe it. And we're going to fight to defend our state and our values against those who want to change how we relate to our law enforcement officers and the respect we demonstrate to them every day, and should encourage others to demonstrate as well.
Thank you, Senator. Now, we are all going to sign the pledge, then we will return to our seats and take a few questions.